Okay, welcome to episode number 83, and today's special guest is Frank Fleckenstein,
however you want to pronounce it. Well, people in the US, they say Fleckenstein by nature because the E comes first, so correct would be Fleckenstein.
Yeah.
Stein, if you want to make it
Stein.
really German.
Yeah, really German.
Stein.
Yeah. Okay, hey, today we have a bunch of topics that we can talk about. You brought some of your great amps, which is a Richie Blackmore signature amp, one of the early ones with the champagne chassis.
Exactly. Yeah, this is one of the older ones. I can't date it. I don't know from when exactly it is, but it has to be one of the older ones because now they make all the fronts equal, like silver.
Yeah.
And also the new ones, they are lighter. I mentioned that earlier to you,
Yeah.
which might indicate that they changed something, maybe the output transformer. I know that this one or this generation
Is a good
sounds
one.
better. It just sounds fatter. It has more balls, as they say. Yeah.
So this is the Engel Richie Blackmore signature 100 watts amp. Then we have a Morgan SW50R.
SW50R. So the story behind this is that Joe Morgan he did amp repairs, like most of the amp builders repairing
Started
amps.
with the
And
repairs.
apparently a customer came in with a very, very expensive amplifier by a brand that starts with D and stops with Umble.
Yeah, okay, the Rumble.
And so apparently there were a couple of things to fix, and he kind of anticipated what was going on inside and tried to come up with something similar, let's say something similar. His version
of that iconic expensiveness.
Exactly. And what's great about this amp is it has massive headroom.
Yeah.
So you can really play it, you can really push it, play it loud if you want to. You can, even if you put pedals in front of it, it still stays relatively clean. So that's a good amp to experiment with. Yeah, and then
And the third one is the MP.
the MP, which is the complete opposite
Right.
of these two,
Yeah.
because it's 20 watts. It's very simple. It just has a volume, then some kind of like tone stack knob, if you want to, a tone knob, gain, and that's it, 20 watts. So the opposite of lots
Right.
of headroom.
And this is all you have. I mean, you have more amps, but
Yes.
you took these with you. So you can check these amps together with your own designed pedals.
Yes, exactly.
Before we talk about the pedals,
Yes.
I have to explain a little bit about Frank and us. When I met him, really, I think we've met before, but we not in depth. But he used to work at a music store, and I was impressed about this nice gentleman that has had tons of knowledge and whatever. I think I was doing a clinic there, and so
Yeah, you were doing one of the early AMP1 clinics, actually. Yeah, exactly.
And so you've been there, and I asked you this, and this was not a problem, and the next thing was not a problem, and anything seems to be not a problem. So I
tried to be like that, yeah.
but anyway, it was so cool, and I thought, this guy has knowledge. This guy is nice. Everything works. Nice guy. And then we start to get a bit more in contact, and this was back in the days when I had the silver edition out there, and then I think you had a silver at a certain time.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point I bought silver edition from you, actually.
Okay, I don't remember.
I think Kai fixed that up.
Okay, Kai is the guy who works with me.
Exactly, Kai fixed it up. So I had the silver edition, and around that time I also was engaged into some sort of like my own YouTube channel.
Right.
Where
the Gear Couch or what?
The Gear Couch, exactly. The Gear Couch, and at some point I made a video about the silver edition.
Okay.
And the tones I got out of it were like nothing that you were normally used to.
Exactly, because me, the vintage freak, and then you started to do something even in the direction of metal.
Yeah, very like focused, tight sounds, modern metal with.
And this was so impressive to me, and so I thought when I needed some kind of counterparts for the development of the Iridium Edition, you were first choice. So I knew Frank is the guy that understands metal, that plays metal, that has this kind of guitars, access, and experience. And you also released an album in this kind of era.
Yeah, no, that was later. That was when Mercury Edition was already out, and it was just before Guitar Summit. Like I think it's like 3 years ago or something.
or maybe longer, because
this whole Corona situation makes everything like so
time warp.
Yeah.
but it okay. I know what you mean. But again, when I heard your whatever metal version, that I liked that because it had like some spaciness, and it had those kind of metal-esque grooves, and so there was kind of something that I know from drum and bass. Drum and bass is something that I actually enjoyed a lot because there is this energy of the drums, but then there's this lush and spaciness on top of that kind of glues
everything together.
Yeah. So and your music had something of that stuff that I knew and I liked. So I liked your.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I liked that.
It might be because it's heavily influenced by obviously the stuff I've been doing and listening to, but also because I'm a huge fan of film scores, film music, and that album has lots of like strings and sometimes like these huge drums in the back, and but then again it has these like very aggressive
beats.
Moments. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's there was a lot of common ground already, and then when I started to do the Iridium Edition, I thought of people that I would contact to get feedback in all and on all of that, and you were one of them, and we actually did a video. And you did a video on the Iridium Edition when we released it.
When it was released, exactly.
Yeah. So this is all that part of the thing. And then after this, you started to found your own company.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
This is like going on in history. When did that happen?
That happened. Actually, that was last year. So. Last year, I had a period where I wasn't well physically, so I was like out of order for a long time. Let's just phrase it like this.
Well, I didn't notice because
we're in touch here and then, and we talk, but then we talk for 2 hours. And it's like and then at some point, I was like pretty much like you. I am a problem solver. So you solved a lot of problems for guitar players with
AMP1,
the AMP1, with the AMP1 Iridium for heavier guitar players. Exactly. The issue of traveling, the issue of having a real amp in that format.
Right.
So you solved a lot of issues, and these issues like carrying around big stuff, that's going to become more problematic, I suppose, as well.
Sure.
So I did the same thing with thinking about pedals. I have some development background. In the past, we've worked together. Once I also worked for a company called DV Mark.
Italian
company. Mark Bass is the head company, but they had like these guitar amps. I did some work with Peter Diesel as well. So I had some experience on it should sound like that and that. Engineer, go do it.
Yeah.
And I always had the pleasure and the luck of working with great engineers that could do that.
Sure.
But then I was like, I want to learn that myself, and I want to learn how to solve my problems. And that's how I got into pedals. And obviously, it's like in the year 2020 or 2021, somebody, founding a pedal company is like.
Well, how many pedal companies do already exist on the planet?
And probably actually, let's say relevant and setting standards.
Yeah,
not that many actually.
That's correct.
But through the pandemic, a lot of people were thinking, "What can I do to get some like extra income? I'm sitting at home." But the result of that is, there are just more fuzzes around.
Yeah.
So everybody sells a fuzz face, a range master,
and another clone of the good old Tube Screamer.
Exactly. But with more options, and then clipping this and clipping that.
And there's one thing about you. You have the background also from a music store because you worked there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
long time. Yeah.
So you wouldn't do a cheapo copy of something. No. This wouldn't be you. So if you do something it has to be special, and it has to be something that is at least considering to look at. And this is, I know, whatever you've done before even your pedals, because this is the first time I see your pedals, I heard your pedals today. Everything that Frank has done so far impressed me. And this is a good starting point. And maybe we can talk about what were the problems and what is your solution.
Yeah, so one of the issues that, let's start with the surreal. That one is less of a problem solver, but something that I was looking into, because some of my guitars have single coils that in certain musical contexts I like.
Yep.
But for other contexts, they're a little bit thin sounding. So
I
I wanted
know that-
something
I know
to
that problem.
fatten up the
Yeah,
sound.
yeah.
And then I was looking at different solutions, and obviously one equation of it is you have to make the amp work a little bit harder.
Sure.
So a boost came to mind, but something simple as a boost, depending on the amp, can also ruin that clean
Sure.
kind of moment. So then I was looking at certain designs where preamps from tape machines were used, like the EP
Yeah.
booster, for example. That's the classic,
Sure.
obviously. I thought, well, where can I find something that's
Special.
that's special, that's maybe different? And then I actually researched and found that Chord, so a German company that in the 70s, now they are known for PA systems.
Sure.
But in the 70s, they also made tape machines, not tape machine, tape echoes.
Yeah.
Tape echoes. And so the Mini Chord is one of their designs. The Echo Chord Mini,
I think I have one.
you have one.
You know what? If you can go on, I go next room and let's see if I find mine. I'm thinking I have one. Okay, see you in a minute.
Yeah.
Please explain it. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm going to explain it. Where's my cam? This one? Okay, perfect. So, so I wanted to fatten up the sound of a too thinny sounding single coil. So the EP, you actually have this thing. But that's the big one. I think that's the big one.
Anyway, we show the big one.
The Echo Chord, that's the Echo Chord Super. It's a brick, it's heavy as hell,
Yeah, sure.
and I'm pretty sure, wow.
Wait a minute.
And if you want to get tapes for that, oh my God,
Yeah, you have to make them there yourself.
most likely.
Yeah, I have old tape and I'm.
Oh wow,
So this is.
nice.
But
Well, that one had tubes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know about the fascination you're talking about. Tape echoes used to use those as preamps.
Yeah, I mean, look at. So what I was told by someone who was working in the now you see it, who was working in the studio scene heavily in the 70s in Hamburg. So a lot of guys would just come in and play straight into the mixing desk for a quick session, just with the preamp of this. They didn't even use a tape echo or something.
Yeah.
Just the thing, and then afterwards, because they like the sound so much, they would boost their AC30s or their Marshalls or whatever to make them sound fatter.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the inspiration, and then I tried to get that into a pedal format.
Very, very nice.
With a couple of additions. So the Surreal has a blend control, which is. Do you think that thing actually?
In my case, everything works. Let's switch it on. It hasn't been used for ages, but the magic eye. See, this is something I love. See this. This is the magic eye, and then we have to start. Wait a minute, it's running.
It's running. Unbelievable.
You know what? We give it a try just for the fun.
Oh.
Okay, who cares? This is maybe the guitar, which goes into instrument input. This has been modified. You know what? I need one of those. if you don't have a Christmas present, get yourself an Academy of Tone shirt.
Yes.
It can serve to isolate products and stabilize it here. And we go out here and put this into, where's the output? I think that's the output.
But this one's modified because this had like super weird. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we are talking the real deal.
Wow. Nice.
I call it Adagio. It has a presto button. I cranked the preamp.
If I crank everything, funny story. When I tested this, when I tested the prototype, I went to a huge guitar store that has 30 amps, all kinds of amps, and a switching system that you can like easily switch between amps. And there were some amps that would not stand. Would not stand if I cranked this thing fully up. They would go like. Ugh.
This has so much headroom.
It's too, yeah.
It has headroom because it is a tube design, whatever. It has tons of headroom. I can get gain out of this and can squash any amp to death, which I just did.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is what I just did. So this is kind of the big brother that you had.
That's the big brother of the Echo Chord Mini. The Echo Chord Mini is smaller and less tubes inside.
Yeah.
And was like somehow the affordable version, let's say.
Yeah, sure.
And some amps would not hold this. But this obviously weighs a ton.
Yeah, it weighs a ton.
And you can actually only get the headroom in this because it has a bipolar power supply, a voltage multiplier.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get the headroom.
Do you have what's the voltage inside?
Actually, it's just 15.
15.
It's just 15 volts.
Yeah, but 15 is quite a lot.
I experimented with 24.
Yeah.
But at some point, it would sound weird.
It's not. I agree, but it's more than 9 volts.
Yeah.
Which gives you this extra headroom. Here again, the T-shirt. So I'm using that time for a little advertising. And by the way, this we have other T-shirts like the One shirt, and we have whatever. So because Christmas time is coming up, it's getting cold. You need long sleeves. You need shirts.
Long sleeves. You need the more you can get. The onion principle is what we call it. Lots of T-shirts.
Absolutely. And
get 3 of them.
Just before, because I had to pack up some CDs and DVDs today as well. If you don't have this in your collection, that's my best of album, which is not too bad because it's the best of my shit. Okay, DVDs and the orchestra DVD and my Hendrix DVD and my Hendrix CD and blah blah blah. So this was the advertising slot for today.
All good. It's your show.
Yeah. And this is all from the BluGuitar website. So this was the back to the episode.
So the difference is the Surreal has a blend control, so you can actually keep some of your original signal as well and blend the preamped signal into it, which adds more complexity. I've noticed that guys who like British voiced amps like this pedal better. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't do that well in front of American style amps. Fender amps. The Fender amps. Yeah,
Fender amps.
F-type amps, whatever you want to call it. So that was the concept behind the Surreal. Mm-hmm. And the more complicated pedal, it looks more complicated, it actually isn't that complicated, is the all-you-can boost.
Okay, before you talk about the organ,
Yes.
let's explain the what.
So
What is
so
the-
this is my clean tone.
Yeah.
So
Bypass.
there's one thing, bypass.
Yeah.
So there's one thing about the original design that went into this circuit as well, which is most of the stuff happens between 2 o'clock on these two dials, which is fat, which is something like the output, and it is cleaner, and grit, I call it grit, which is more
the
like
drive kind of.
yeah, it's like the input.
How hot the circuit is driven.
Yes, exactly. So most of the stuff happens after 2 o'clock. So, and since this also has a buffer, which is another problem that I wanted to solve, long cables.
Yeah. Low impedance output, no problem.
Yeah.
Question,
Yes.
since you are into electronics by now, are you using ICs, integrated circuits? Are you transistors or
Yes. So
any
this for the
secrets or
I'm using, well, for the IC I'm using a Burr Brown.
okay?
Because
A
I
Burr-
actually checked different ones, and the Burr Brown won against a regular TL072
Yeah.
IP unit. The IP unit is the low noise one. It's
Yeah.
really low noise, and I like it. I'm using it. The IP one I'm using it here.
Yeah, I'm also liking different op amps for different things.
Yeah.
And the Burr Brown I know as well, because the Burr Brown to me sounds very warm, organic.
Yes.
But very defined as well. The TL 072 to me sounds always a little bit vintagey, fluffy, not as pristine, but has
But more pristine than a 4558, for example.
that's-
4558 is like a classic overdrive thing,
Yeah.
and if you wanted to, if I would do an overdrive, which is something I'm actually working on right now, but then that would be maybe my choice. But even for an overdrive, the TL072 IP is very low noise.
Yes.
I love it very much, but in the end, for the Surreal, the Burr Brown
was the winner.
won. And I remember a video, because people talk about that stuff, they talk about op amps, and Brian Wampler actually made a video about this, like using the same circuit, putting different op amps,
Yeah.
and you couldn't hear that much of a difference. But then again, it's a YouTube video, it's compressed like hell. So if you would do the same test with the person in front of it, you would definitely notice there's something happening.
And the thing is, we're talking subtle differences.
Yeah.
And subtle differences also do matter, and it sums up. For instance, in the Blue box, I'm using two different types of op amps because of how it shapes the sound. I mean, it's not a frequency. You can measure it. It's the same frequency curve. That's not the thing. It's maybe a different slew rate as how fast the thing is.
Yes.
I'm not caring. For me, it's I got my ears and I do the same thing. I swap op amps and check which one I like better. And some of them do a better job in this position, and some of them do a better job on that other position.
That's true, 100%.
And
So yeah, so so in the end it was the Burr Brown. So this is bypass, and this is just a. Let me just switch that off.
and you are using what is it? The Mercury edition here.
The Mercury Edition clean channel. Everything's pretty flat actually.
Is it? It is a Mercury. Okay, yeah.
It's a Mercury, yeah, and everything is pretty flat actually.
You want some reverb? I give you a touch.
No,
of,
no, no, no.
No. I just give you a touch of reverb because otherwise it's so dead track.
The only thing you will hear right now is the buffer actually, because that's kind of zero. This is where, well, obviously with the blend at half.
Yeah.
So there's not much happening, but
Yeah. That's a good starting point.
yeah. So now I'm taking down blend a little bit. It doesn't distort. It doesn't. you know, do anything with it. It just everything. So if you go and you can now go ahead and add more of the pre. Still, it's louder. There's more signal. There's more level coming.
I love it because I'm always after the same effect with my replex, and everybody that knows me knows that this effect is exactly what I'm always looking for to get my single coil Strat, which is my 99% guitar, in a register that is equally as big as a humbucker guitar without losing the definition.
Exactly.
And to me, that's magic. What? Yeah. So for me, the point is, if you can either have an amp like driven hard, like, you know, you take a Fender amp and whatever super reverb and compress it a little bit and give them some resonance from the cabinet. But on the other hand, it's like if these tape echoes, the old tape echoes, they used to have the preamps that made that magic with the single coil guitars.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's there.
And you would, yeah, I mean, you were saying, so if you take, for example, that's... Oh. It's nice, but... I think I chose a weird effect for this. Let me find something else.
That's nice. Okay.
It also just sounds fuller.
Yeah.
So I often use these two when I'm using an echo out of the specular tempus. I'm using these two together to just like
get the tape echo feel.
Exactly.
Because this gives you more body in the tone, and the whole signal with the echo is more dimensional, I think.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's like, there's the echo on top of the whole thing, but with such a frequency and whatever character change, it's like, hello, I'm on authority here.
Exactly.
Listen to my notes.
Exactly. Well, people are going to hear them unmistakably. And talking about this, like, let's try if I can do something like really bad here.
Yeah. We can
let's lower the volume.
Yeah.
But you remember what you did with the
with my Dynacord. This is using the clean channel.
Yes.
So guys, this is important to know. This boosts the crap out of my AMP1 clean channel, but it's important that you can do that because this is the natural behavior.
Yes.
If my AMP1 wouldn't do that, it wouldn't be tube-like amplifier, and that's important to get all these sound recipes back in a new way. I mean, there's nothing wrong about the old school, but you heard how noisy that fucker is.
It is very noisy.
And it's like, this is at least, I would say, 7 AMP1, the weight of 7 AMP1s. I mean, hold it. Just...
Oh, sorry.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
This is like...
really...
almost a case of beer.
The mini version was actually not that bad, but...
but this is...
But yeah, and if you use higher settings here and get back on band. So this is like original signal. Most of the signal is still going to be the original one. Obviously, it's very sensitive in the last quarter. Try?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
I'm very curious. So let's check this one. I can hear that. Wait a minute. I just get a little more.
Oh, it's off.
It's like, where's the magic gone? You know, I mean, this is like, yeah.
Still half of the original signal.
Yeah.
That's because the blend control works linear. It's completely linear. It's in the middle. So
this is more. This is more of the surreal.
Yes.
Circuitry.
Yes.
And this would be like the. Yeah.
It's blended to the original, but already has the I mean, it has the buffer. So
yeah.
You're vibrating that much.
Okay.
That something fell down.
This was the blue box on your side.
Yeah.
But it's still.
It's still unchanged. Don't worry.
Okay. I put the volume down a little bit. Yeah, we tear the studio down. Maximum on the grid.
Maximum on the grid, but then obviously if you put in blend and you crank everything up, but then you know it's going to be ugly.
Okay, this was an extreme setting, but just for
like
for
something
me.
subtle.
Yeah, let's try to get something in between. you know, it's a Strat, a pedal, it's magic.
A Strat, pedal, and an amp.
Yeah. So, you know, even my amp has a boost pedal built in, but as we all know, for my huge collection, I love that shit. And this is another one that I will really dig. It's really, you know, brings the whole thing more alive. I don't know what it is. It's like adding spices, like a little bit of pepper and salt on, you know, and
yeah, you can make spaghetti bolognese, or you can make spaghetti bolognese. You know, it's like what I always feel. I've seen thousands of customers coming in a store, coming inside a store, and then grabbing a super expensive guitar, going to a super expensive amplifier, and they play, and they're like, you know, it's something's missing.
No magic.
Some people can pull it off because
they know what to do.
They know what to do, and they also have the right hand, to back it up. Yeah. But then, and this kind of, and there was another thing that when I did the prototyping, I was like, I felt kind of glued to my amp. It's like I'm closer to my amp, and I have more control about what's happening. You saw that it worked well with the volume control.
Yeah,
sure.
Nice. For me, that's if you know how to work with this kind of ingredients, you can cook a nice tone. And this is I have always been fan of something like this, and this is great pedal. Cool. So, Surreal, do we have any questions on this? Let us check in the... Hi, Thomas. Could low gain mode Iridium to get a 80s metal sound? Okay, metal we do later. I'm using low gain mode on Mercury as well. I'm using actually a low gain I was using on this museum piece. Okay, this was when I showed it.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank. His channel. Good hang.
That's Sven. Hey, Sven.
So here's your cable. Okay. And we put in the link to your website.
To the website, yeah. Exactly.
Where we get these pedals.
Yes, you can get them on the website. We also have a reverb shop. If depending on from where you are, some people just prefer to buy on reverb because they're used to it.
Yeah.
So all the options are available. Yeah. So that's the Surreal. The All You Can Boost is a different type of animal.
Okay.
So
the name, it starts with a name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's All You Can Boost. People associate it with All You Can Eat.
Yeah, okay. And there's a problem that I have with All You Can Eat. I tell you what the problem is. When I go for All You Can Eat, it's like I will leave the restaurant stuffed, which is sometimes.
This is a Kiesel, William. This is a Kiesel. I have another one. I'm going to show it. Right afterwards. I have a headless one with me as well for the heavier tones.
Yeah, we'll have that. But All You Can Eat, the name, and All You Can Boost. The thing is, when it comes to this eating experience, I like to eat, and sometimes I also like to eat lots. So I'm really, had a meal. But it can be too much. The thing about boosts is, I know there are pedals out there, and this one is good for this thing, and this one is good for that thing, and there is a certain kind of flexibility, but there's also limitations. For instance, we see this very famous Spark booster.
Yeah, very famous booster, that's for sure.
And there's nothing wrong about it because it already has a few options here. There's a clean boost, there's a fat which has a lower mid-range hump, and then there's a mid which is the typical mid-range hump. There's a gain and a level control and extra bass. So this is a pretty flexible boost, designed as a boost pedal, or you use the EQ. Is that in the box over there? Can you see?
Which EQ?
On top of the Triumph.
On top of the Triumph, there is a... okay. There is a...
Sorry for the messy studio here, because we have everything somewhere.
You can also use an EQ as a boost, technically, yeah. 100%.
But what I mean, what I like about this is I can dial in weird curves. What I don't like about this is it's a lot of fiddling to find.
You can mess up a lot of
Yeah.
things with it as
So
well.
so you have to be a bit experienced how to work with it. I find it pretty analytic to work with a piece like
Yes,
that.
100%. It's something that, front of house guy would do.
Yeah.
You know, it's a
I use it as a tool sometimes, to have the option to get somewhere in an analytic way. But then again, I'm also missing the frequencies in between. Sometimes the choice of the frequencies I'm not happy with. Sometimes they do match. Mesa Boogie used to have a 6-band EQ on theirs.
yes, 5-band EQ,
5-band
on,
EQ.
on the amps. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And some people say they found the magic frequencies for their tone. Next, what I learned about pedals and amplifiers is they all have a different character, and therefore you need to have the weirdest frequency shapes. And
That's true.
And sometimes I can find it with this, sometimes I can't find it with it. For me, it's just a tool. I've never used one of those on a pedal board, but it's a problem solver, another way of EQ besides boost or this. Now, all you can boost.
Now, all you can boost. What I mentioned earlier was the fact that I wanted to solve a problem, and that problem is I wanted to do something that works in front of any kind of amp, and in any kind of amp situation, meaning in front of an amp's clean channel, in front of an amp's crunch channel, in front of an amp's high gain channel. So I wanted to cover that.
We talked about high gain sounds a lot.
Yes.
And because you started to do metal tones even with the silver edition on the high gain channel, on the modern channel.
On the modern channel.
And this channel is not very tight, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
And of course, you showed me with, which we all know, pedals like this, Horizon devices, Precision Drive, which is a famous pedal to get to metal tones, which is kind of a maxed out tube screamer with a low cut switch.
There's a 5-way low cut switch in this thing, I actually used that one back then.
Yeah.
To get those tones.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it also has a gate. But since and we talked about amps earlier, so I have the Mercury Edition, I have the Iridium, I have these 3 amps, I have a DSV-H4. I actually acquired a Lab Series L5. Do you know that? Do you know that one?
I know. It is a
solid state amp.
It's a solid transistor amp from the 80s,
70s to 80s. Bob Moog designed them.
Oh fuck! And
So
I heard
I found one.
I heard people playing that amp, and actually it was maybe one of the most musical transistor amps ever.
Ty Tabor from King's X.
Yeah.
First 4 albums of King's X were
Yeah.
recorded with that.
If you ever played a jazz chorus and try to get some overdrive out of it, it is the ugliest noise ever.
Getting the chills.
It's like, ouch. It has a fantastic clean tone.
Yeah.
I mean, jazz chorus.
That's what it's made for.
Yeah. But they have an overdrive section. It's like, this is the example of a shit tone.
Yeah, and the Lab Series L5 doesn't do that. And the funny thing about it is the variety of players who play this. So we have B.B. King.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing the L5 for most of his career.
Yeah.
We have Ty Tabor from King's X, that's like prog, the rock tone. And we have guys like even Holdsworth played the L5 for a little bit of time. So they're like 3 complete different players.
Right.
And so this thing wouldn't break. This thing wouldn't break down. And I actually acquired one from my birth year. So it's a 1981 L5. So I'm using all these amps.
Shit, we should have invited you for the episode 81. Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Good one.
You don't get any younger. That's the problem. So
That's the issue.
Yeah. Okay.
So all you can boost
In 100 years.
In 100 years. All you can boost. One of the let me just show it. So, by the way, I do it in all kind of funny colors as well. So, normally they're white and they have this black, blue, and red knob selection. But at some point, I found out that so many people have these like themed pedal boards. You know, like everything has to be black, everything has to be purple, everything has to be pink. So I said, you know, why not? And I just made a couple that actually sold pretty well. So I make them in all
kind of
shapes
colors
and forms. And the basic principle is that it has 2 boost sections in there. And depending on the combination of the settings of these 2, you'll get different tones. You get some kind of a clean boost. You can get something that has more hair. You know, it's like, or you can actually use it as some sort of overdrive pedal as well. At that point, there's lots of gain involved, and it starts to compress. And in the lower register, it's gonna get really thick, which some people like. But and then we come to the problem solving. It also has a high pass filter.
Ah, okay.
But not a 6-way or 5-way or something. It's
tunable.
You can really tune in where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I remember one customer actually giving me feedback saying like, finally he plays a JTM 45 and like really drives it and wants to like kick it even more. And with most of the stuff that he was using before, it was
yeah,
you know?
he couldn't find the right.
He called it farting. He started farting.
Sure. That's it.
And then with the high pass filter in this, obviously it solves the problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fart anymore, but it gives you like this additional like level. It's actually pretty loud. And then on top of it, you also have an active 3-band EQ.
Ah, okay.
That is switchable.
Ah.
So it's not like
One?
It's 1 and 2 in the end. That also calls for a variety of scenarios. So what I do sometimes, just for fun, is like clean tone and then like slightly overdriven tone, and then with the EQ, because at some point the mid control becomes a boost as well, a mid boost. Yeah. Because it's active. You get like some additional level, and obviously you'll cut through in the mix
because you have more mids too at the same time.
Exactly. So let's just hear this. Bit. So
okay,
this is bypass. It's relatively clean, and I would say this is more or less unity gain. Adds a little bit of color to it. It's not that hairy yet. If we add more,
do you have a level control, or is this?
It's the boost. It's
the boost.
It's the boost. Now and you can see. I mean, it's actually very loud.
Yeah.
Pull this off.
Nice.
And it's still, there's still enough like light information in the lower register going on, but you can crank this up like really. It also starts to be not so much here, but here.
The bass kind of saturates it.
Exactly. It saturates. It's kind of like banging against the other boost section.
Okay. You using like soft clip in between the stages or?
No, it's actually, so the two boost circuits, one is an op-amp boost.
Okay.
The other one is a FET boost.
Ah yeah, okay.
Or JFET.
JFET, okay.
So it's transistor.
Okay, yeah.
And obviously that one's cleaner. The op-amp boost is actually set up pretty pretty heavy. So that's the op-amp. If you don't like that much information down there, you can slightly increase.
Tighten the lower end a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now the other way around, it becomes actually cleaner. It becomes louder, but it's still very clean.
Yeah.
You know that one.
Yeah.
Still no. So there's that. And if on top of that you would like to shape the sound any further, you could do so with the EQ. So here's the mid control is already like very up. So this would be
More.
sort of. Obviously starts to get like, and it also
boost.
starts to, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
The EQ sits in the middle of these two.
Yeah, okay.
So,
makes sense.
That's why you can even shape this further. You could turn this into a lot of things. You could actually, if you let me just do something funny here. So bass full up, no high pass filter, B1 full up, and with the EQ. And you get this like
Drive.
super overdriven, almost fuzz-like. Depending on the amp, the amp one has a lot of headroom, obviously.
Yeah.
Depending on the amp, you can really get some fuzzy tones out of this, just by
Yeah, cranking this way.
cranking it this way. Exactly.
Cool.
So and that calls for a couple of scenarios. Like for example, if we
Overdrive.
Wait,
we need more master to be at the...
I think the gate is very. Let's go soft.
Give it more gain.
Yeah. If you want to kick that even further, it adds some color, obviously. With the EQ,
nice. Can I play it
Of course.
for a
I
second?
want you to play it.
I saw a question here, guys. This is a Morgan amp
Yes.
on this side here. But we'll come to the amps in a minute. Before we go there, just there's on top is the MP,
The MP2, yeah.
MP2, and we have a Morgan SW50R, which is this. It's not a Magnatone. They have a similar cosmetic, but
Yeah, the logo is kind of, it goes in the same direction. It's
yeah. Can I try this?
Sure.
B1. That's me. So this is cranked in front of the clean amp and
Yes.
probably saturating this stage and my amp.
Yes.
Okay, versus B2.
Versus B2. So around like,
So that's a higher mid frequency, around 800 or.
I have actually,
It's a different. I would call it a bit higher in the mids, but this is like my description. Doesn't matter.
yeah, I mean, I noticed that the op amp side has more color to it. And I mean, the JFET is, these things are normally like used as switches. So
Yeah.
So it's very clean. It's very clean.
There's nothing wrong about JFETs.
No, not at all. But play like pick a little less heavy now, and it's totally clean. Because there is a, and that's what everybody who took a look inside was always like, why do you need 4 op amps? Well, obviously because of the EQ, because of the boost section, but one of them, and people think it's a charge pump. It's not a charge pump. It creates a negative voltage.
Ah, okay.
And so this is, yeah, I mean, this increases dynamics, and that was something that was really important to me.
I need a little reverb for pleasure.
Yeah. Less compression than with beat.
If I would use my boost now,
Yeah.
I could use both together. First without it, just my built-in boost.
Yeah.
Set it
up like full?
Full.
Okay, it's full actually.
It's okay. Nice. Okay. And now I have this on top, and then I use my volume control.
wanted to, you could add some hair with B1.
Okay, let's compare this versus with your B1.
Yes.
I need more. I need
more of B2. Okay.
I think that's another magic combination for myself.
Yeah.
With the two boosts, with your B2 into my boost, because there's this kind of headroom which is limited with my boost that also kind of saturates itself. And
Okay.
I voiced it in a way that I like the way it breaks up. And with something like that drives it, it comes, because it has this whispery hugeness.
Yes.
And then I get the clipping. It's a symmetrical clipping that I have, blah blah blah, and it's, yeah, I like this combination. Period. That's whatever it is.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And if you wanted like some extra mids, for example, and a little.
By the way, this middle thing, we are getting into the stumble territory, because the Dumble amps have a mid-focus
mid-emphasis
or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they have some kind of mid-focused thing
Yes.
going on in general, which makes it like talk to you a bit more, because the mids are hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Exactly.
nice. I mean, all you can boost. Pretty versatile.
Pretty versatile. The feedback I'm getting is that people tell me that it replaced some of the pedals on their board. I haven't gotten to the tube screamer part yet, but somebody said he wanted to try it. There was this YouTuber, Jonathan from the Tone Lounge, a guy who, I don't know where he's from actually, but he lives in Belgium. That's
Okay.
where I sent the stuff to.
Yeah.
And he used the all-you-can boost in so many different scenarios. He even used it as a treble boost, Fox treble boost, because obviously it's not a treble boost, but
Yeah.
you could. So yeah, it's actually able to do a lot of things. Obviously, if you play with a guitar, well, let's actually do that. Let me switch the to the trusty headless.
Aha. Are we getting more heavy now? Yes.
Yeah. We're getting heavier
headless
now.
Headless.
Do you have the cable? You still have the cable.
Okay.
in your guitar.
Wait a minute. No.
Your guitar.
In my guitar. So this is, yeah, sure. Please.
So this is drop down
C.
to drop C, exactly.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
You need
let's
a
dive
overdrive or which channel? Modern.
Yeah.
Okay. Less reverb maybe. So.
And let's go with the heavier noise gate. I actually don't need that much gain.
I don't know how the tone is.
Cheers. I actually like the, where is it? This one. difficult to hear through the through
monitors. We have, just to explain to people, maybe one day we show you what we've got in the studio. We have little quested, this tiny.
Is 5-inch, 5 or 5.5?
I have no idea. It's as huge as my fist. That's the driver. It's not big monitors, but we torture them a bit.
So, as I said, or we spoke about in the beginning, like the tightness around, like especially with these lower tuned guitars. And if you do like these fast single note attacks.
The squeal.
Without rumbling, it's kind of unclear what's going on down there.
Absolutely.
But here. So yeah, that's what. There's another bunch of people who like to do this. With it.
Absolutely, because to get a tight metal tone for whatever style of metal, it is about finding the right spot of how tight it is, how dry it is, and this defines your punch in a way. And if it's not punchy, it's not metal.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously there might be tones where you want that, like.
Yeah, sure. But this is a doom metal.
This is like doom stuff, exactly.
Yeah. And then modern metal needs to be like, you know it better than I do, but I think it has a certain definition. Without that definition, it doesn't work. And it has this kind of woodiness. It needs to be there.
Yeah, 100%. And that can do that. So, again, like this problem-solving thing that I have going in my head, I didn't want to do a pedal just for one type of player.
Right.
I love the precision drive is a great invention, but it's made for one type of player.
And that's all.
And this is for the blues cat. This is for the rock guy. This is for the guy who wants to do their amp if they want to. Awesome. And it's for the metal guy. So a lot of it applies to many people. And that was, and I see sometimes I Google the guys that buy it, you know.
Yeah.
And I see what kind of music they do and say, that makes sense. It works for them as well.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm glad you like it because I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you.
Oh, really?
Yes. I have a surprise for you. Mm-hmm. Surprise connected with a little story that I would like to tell. So, by the way, all the pedals, they come in this nice...
Oh, you have your own
tote bag. Yes.
Oh, I'm getting jealous here. And it's organic fiber?
It's organic and it has a long handle, so you can actually... I was told it's great for carrying vinyls around. Because vinyls fit in there.
Okay.
A friend of mine
is a vinyl guy.
When he goes to the store, he uses this one. And
I have a huge box out there filled with vinyls. Don't lift it because it's so heavy.
So yeah, we always because I don't like to use. So we are reusing the package material that the company that makes the enclosures uses. We try to not produce extra waste.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's why. And then I use this as an additional packing material as well. So here's your surprise.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, oh, and see this? There's a pedal. Oh, nice. Hey, Frank, super. And the color matches my guitar. And
yes,
it's all you can boost pedal. Thank you so much. Hey,
and it's. I was trying to get as close to as possible with the color of the cream Strat. It is very close. It's a little bit more shiny than your Strat, obviously, but it's like creamy colored.
Yeah,
so.
I showed you the other side, which is dirtier.
Yeah. No
so
wonder.
On the back, I clean it with my shirt, and every time. Hey, thank you so much. This is super cool. Hey, nice.
The first time, here's the story that's connected with it. The first time I actually saw you, we didn't talk. We talked like for 2 seconds or something because it was at Musikmesse '99. I started working in the industry in '98 at a small store in Cologne called Music City back then.
Oh yeah, I remember that store.
Yeah, very very small store, family driven, great store. I learned there. But '98, I was still in school and I was working part time. And then I would go to to Musikmesse in '99 for the first time.
Yeah.
And I went there and with a couple of friends, and we didn't have a car back then, and we didn't have that much money. So we traveled with these regional trains. Yeah, you could buy a ticket for like 35 Deutschmarks, and 5 people could use it. So we were 5 people, and it took us like 5 hours to get to Frankfurt.
But who cares? It was cheap. It was cheap, yeah.
Anyway, so we went there, and obviously there was so much noise. Back then, there was so much more noise
at the trade shows.
Because there was so much more going on and so much more people and companies. And I went to the Hughes and Kettner booth, and you were still, back then, you were with Hughes and Kettner. And so I went there, and Andreas Schmidt-Martel was playing.
Of course.
We always exchanged stages. He was playing, and first I was like, okay, because he was mostly playing covers.
Yeah, he was into. I'm not sure which year it was. He was a huge fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
And then he had a nice show where he had like a medley of another
Mark Knopfler.
Then this was probably the year.
Pink Floyd, all that kind of stuff. And he matched all the tones. So it was very nice.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you came on stage, and the first thing I thought was like, how the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy? And why does he have such an old guitar?
Well,
back then
you didn't get
in the US. Well, in the US, the vintage boom was already going on, but it didn't swap over to Europe until like the early 2000 or something, when Fender started to do these relics and everything, and then everybody started to go crazy about like old guitars.
Yeah.
And then you started playing, and I was like, and how the hell does he sound so good with this old guitar? I didn't get it.
I tell you, because it's an old guitar.
Yeah, because it's an old guitar.
And I knew that even back then, because I bought this guitar when I was 17, and this must have been, I don't know, 1980, blah, 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 end of the 80s. But the thing is, remember David Bowie? Where's my cable?
Somewhere down there.
So, what opened my eye, which amp am I playing? Okay, I mean...
That tone, yeah.
And this was like in 84 or 83 or whenever. And this tone, Stevie Ray Vaughan, that was the old tone.
Yeah.
And I heard this in me being a pop guitar player. And, this was one key ingredient that turned me into the old Strat, besides Gary Moore, that used a red one for his hard rock.
Yeah.
And always have been a Hank Marvin fan for the Shadows kind of thing, It's like so. And to me, I remember the times when people looked at me and like, "This is not a proper guitar." You know, where is your whammy bar? Where is your humbucker? Where is your, you know, because back in those days there was hair metal, and there wasn't the vintage vibe.
No, nobody had any idea about this.
Yeah.
Nobody was even scratching the surface.
Yeah, but to me, I felt weird because I was inspired by the vintage vibe already at that time. And then the good thing is I bought this guitar, and I have a 64 Strat that I bought for cheap back in those days because they were cheap.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, and all my beautiful amps, I bought them when nobody wanted them. And I knew already there were better ones, and I knew I wanted a pre-CBS Stratocaster and not like a 67. I wanted at least 64 and older. We're not talking 65. It's like
no, I get that. I mean, I always wanted a guitar from my birth year, but it's difficult to find a good sounding guitar from '81 because
the Strats,
Fender was like. I mean, the Elite Strat would be something that I would like to own for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
But Fender was like doing crappy guitars back then.
The worst
Gibson was doing some nice guitars. But they weighed a ton. I mean, they're 5.5 kilos. I'm not going to go on stage with a 5.5 kilo guitar. And even, I once played an Elite Strat from '83.
Yeah.
So very close to '81. And it weighed like 5.3 kilos. It's like, guys, it's a Strat. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird times. Absolutely weird times. Before we forget, I would love to check some of your amps here.
Yes, 100%.
Because I love when people come here, bring their own amps, and we have a listen. Just double checking questions here.
Is that an Engel? Yeah, exactly. That's an Engel Richie Blackmore signature amp. And I don't know if you were there before or from the beginning. We mentioned that it is one of the earlier ones. So they made, they kind of changed the front design, and they changed something on the inside because the new ones, they don't sound as well and they're lighter. So, but yeah, let's check some.
So get rid of the
delay.
So I'm on my one, and I might start with. I don't know. We start with what the AMP is still plugged in. Okay. Switch off the boost and switch to the AMP, which is AMP3 maybe.
Yes.
Okay. So this is AMP2.
AMP2. Exactly.
Yeah, and the designer is Peter Ahrens.
Peter Ahrens, who's now working for Boutique Amp Distribution.
Used to work. He quit.
No.
Yes.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I know more than you. But here's the story about Peter Ahrens. There is Mike Soldano, there is Dave Friedman, there is what's the first name of Morgan? John Morgan.
Yeah.
And this company is called Boutique Amp Distribution.
Exactly.
And all these major iconic amp designers teamed up in Los Angeles and have a factory where they all build the amps.
Yeah.
And Peter Ahrens was the guy who managed the whole production.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, and looked after those iconic designers and found a few weird things and fixed some stuff.
I've heard stories. Oh, God.
Of course, he being German and me being German, we sometimes have fun to talk a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And Peter is a very knowledgeable guy. He's also very famous for his switching systems.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. The MP switching systems. I mean, if you have a studio with a bunch of amps and you want everything accessible on the spot, there's no way around these systems.
Yeah,
it's just a fact.
There's probably the most professional ones on out there. So, and now we are listening to his amp, which is the MP2. So I'm straight into my KHE switcher here, which is so small.
That you can't even see it.
Can we see it? It's somewhere here in between my Marshall cabinet, which serves as a table. Actually, these days we use Marshall 4x12s as tables.
Yeah.
It's hidden between it. You don't see it. Anyway. So, what is the magic about this amp? There is a
Voltum, so that doesn't necessarily control the power amp itself as a master volume, but more as a voltage or how much power you have. So the gain knob would actually be responsible for that. So you could think about the gain as a overall volume knob, and Voltum as if you needed to lower it, but you still get some sort of saturation.
Okay, let's see. I use it cranked because
Me too.
this is where it sounds where the beef is at,
Yeah, 100%.
So this is a 22 watts.
20.
20.
It's 20 watts, exactly.
What is the output tubes? Do you know? 6v6s or?
It's 6v6, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
So bone is kind of, you have three different sort of, I wouldn't say tone stacks. I don't know if these are actually tone stacks, but depending on the bone setting, you are going to get a different result from what the tone knob does.
Okay.
And obviously, so one is kind of Fender-ish, the second one is Marshall-ish, and the third one is more Marshall-ish.
Yeah, but I'm liking the one in the middle, as you could hear.
Yeah.
I switched to this side.
I assume that you would.
That's one. That's two. Has a nice low end, and not too boomy, and three is too boomy.
That's a lot, yeah.
So the number 2 is my favorite. Well, it says AMP2, so I put it on 2.
Yeah.
And I put a tone in the middle because
Just sits right. Yeah. I think. Do you have the boost engaged? Because it's.
I like the boost.
A bit cleaner without the boost, obviously. Yeah.
But I like the grid.
Yeah.
Okay, what I can hear is definitely the power amp break up kind of thing because it's driven hard.
That's why I liked it as one of the testing. As I'm testing with 5 to 6 amps when I'm working on stuff, and it really helped because if you wanted to push an amp into total breakup, it's a good amp to do that, obviously.
Okay, just for me the challenge. Let me compare to the AMP1 Mercury.
Yes.
On the vintage channel. what's funny? Treble 0. Okay? I mean, we are AMP1 now, just for you to prove, okay? Treble 0.
Treble on 0, and you get super close.
Yeah.
To that.
And I'm getting all the treble still from my mids because I put the mids up to 8. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but I'm getting close. And the bass is like.
But does the EQ? I think I never asked you that. Does the EQ kind of grab into each other, or is it completely separated?
It's completely separated.
Okay.
But the way it is designed, it's like, certain EQs have like a very narrow bandwidth.
Yes.
And others have like, I try to make it as musical. So even, 0 treble and 0 bass. Let's do, 0 on 3 is like amp kaput, no sound.
Yeah.
And if I bring in the middle, I already have, sorry to say that it's a bit offensive, I call it the PV tone because it's only middles. But this is a nice mid.
It's nasal.
Yeah. Okay, this is only middle from the AMP1, nothing else. And 0 is no sound. So, but as it is, it's already a sound.
Yeah.
I don't need the rest to make a sound.
No.
But now I can decide if I want to go and have more bass, or if I want to have more treble, how much, blah blah blah, and that's a different EQ from anything because
it's true.
I call it in German, it's Luftmatratze. What is the English word? I don't know. The thing when you
a camping
the thing you sleep on that you blow up with air to sleep on, is like a Luftmatratze.
Camping mat.
Yeah, camping mat. Yeah,
a camping mat.
mattress.
Camping mattress.
Yeah. Air mattress. Air mattress. Yeah. So if you put an air mattress on a lake and you put yourself on one side, then the other side sticks out of the water.
And you're going to be very wet very soon.
Yeah. So, and this is the typical interaction of standard tone EQs, which is something they do to even form their character of the sound. I wanted to create an EQ that is different, that doesn't. The sound is already there in my channels, but this EQ does something different. It is not making that extreme fundamental sound. It is,
Oh, an airbed. Oh, do you also use an MP switcher in your studio? No.
Sorry, I have the key HE. Why? Because probably I didn't have the money. And I was talking to Peter Ahrens. And when I was ready to buy the switcher, he said, "You have to wait. I'm doing an update on the one that I was interested in." Because he's a perfectionist. And then I waited too long and I needed one, and I got this one, which is also a nice, and it's very compact. This is why I bought this one. It is super small.
Yeah, it definitely fits in between here.
Yeah, and I like to do A/B testings a lot, especially when I travel.
Yes.
And therefore I have this one. But one day I get the real deal MPs as well for the studio. Okay, anyway, this was the MP.
This was the MP, yeah.
So hold this for a sec.
Yes.
I move.
Hold the expensive guitar.
Yeah, well.
Tone for days.
Yeah, but to be honest, I put new strings on today because I have 2 gigs this week, and I had some people this morning, and
that's exactly the. Exactly that kind of
dirt. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean.
By the way, your pedal has, since it's unique, has the serial number TB61.
Oh, thank you.
I made that up, and it's written on the inside.
On the inside. Yes. Okay. So I even have to spy now.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, thank you. Let's check the Morgan then.
On standby still.
Okay, so we. Wow. Okay, that is the other direction.
It's the complete different.
This tells me, okay, I need bass lots, I need clean, I need, I don't know, let me check, blah, 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 okay. Have too much mids. Tack was too much. Spring reverb.
Different guitar, everybody's strat. Let me just pull out something that's so out of the ordinary. Okay. I promised you that I...
Too much strat? Somebody complains about my good strat?
No.
Okay. Okay, let me check this one.
The only thing you have to be careful about is this has really thick, this 11s on 1148.
It's cold. It's a real metal neck.
It's completely aluminum.
I can kill somebody with this one. Hey.
Yeah, especially with this part here, you can most likely decapitate someone.
Let's slice my bread with it. We use it as a pizza slice machine. Where's here's it.
Yeah, it's very far out.
Okay, nice. Close enough for jazz for me. So this is the Morgan. And this is
let's okay. So 1 is 4 is the Morgan?
A 3
is the that's
AMP1 and Morgan. So I mean, again, I can. What is the setting here? clean volume on 10.
It's lots of bass because
Bass,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean this thing has like lots of bass, and it's just everything is at 12 o'clock. All the settings are 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I have my mids in the middle and the treble also kind of in the middle.
and lots of bass.
Yeah, but the bass. The thing is about clean warmth and lots of bass.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what brand is it?
That's a Barclay. It's a German brand actually from Wilhelmshaven.
Wilhelmshaven, up in the north.
Up in the north, exactly.
Okay, just for fun, let me switch to some heavy overdrive. Not from the Morgan, because I think the Morgan doesn't do it.
No. You can break this up with the volume, but
it's will party. Yeah.
It's
Nice. Do we still have the tuner?
we still do have the tuner, exactly. Yeah.
I think the guitar becomes a bit warmer in my hands, so it's it's worth trying to get it in tune. Yeah. Sorry, it was in your car.
A metal jazz master. That's what they say. What the tubes? The tubes in the Morgan are 6L6. I think it's two of them. Yeah, I think there are two 6L6 in there. A very large output transformer, Mercury output transformer.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the earlier ones. They also made a couple of changes, and what they did is they also made a like half the size without the reverb, which I first was looking for, but they made even less of those. So I was happy to find this.
What pickups are on this guitar?
Sir SV.
Okay.
Like very PAF-like.
Yeah.
Very balanced.
They breathe.
Bell, yeah.
Well, actually, this neck doesn't bend much.
It doesn't bend at all.
It's like,
Impossible. It doesn't bend, and you actually, I mean, it's also you cannot adjust it, obviously. So it's like meant to be the
Like
exact
it is.
same, like it is.
yeah, but this doesn't need to be adjusted because this won't change.
No,
I mean, this is a serious metal guitar. Well, my first.
it's actually very vintage sounding because I wanted it to be. But,
Is this a custom-made guitar for you? Or is
this
the
one,
standard
well, but
version?
I sent them the pickups because I wanted the pickups to be the Sir SVs because I know them. These guys also have their own pickup brand, and they can also put those in.
But
They started selling the necks first because you can replace the necks with your Strat.
Okay, they have the same kind of spacing,
Exactly.
and they will fit in your Strat.
And it's 9.5
Vintage radius.
Exactly vintage, but it's very close. A conversion neck. So if you want to make your Strat make a Strat a baritone, like 28, you could do that as well.
A Strat is even too wide for me already. That's sorry, got small hands.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, the neck is really cold. I mean,
I understand you completely. It's I think playing in the it's. At least a little. Yeah, but it's a very nice guitar. I'm not sure. It's so at home I played a lot, but I'm not so sure I would use it.
Leave it. We check. You play.
Yeah?
And
Okay.
now we have the next one is the Richie Blackmore.
The Blackmore, yeah, exactly.
Which is on 4, but you have to switch on the standby.
Yeah, standby.
And
that's only the clean sound.
get some overdrive.
Let's get some funny. Yeah, when we tried it earlier, there was like some kind of weird, is it a mid frequency or like a mid scoop somewhere?
Yeah. But this guitar is more. This guitar has more mids than I think we played it with my Strat.
Yeah.
So it's. Close enough.
Close enough. I'm gonna try it with the.
Just for you guys, so you know what I'm dealing in here. I put the middle. I'm using the vintage channel, by the way. I'm using the middle on 4, the treble also on 4, and the bass only, and that's the point, on 2.
Ah!
So Blackmore has like a very defined low end.
Now it's like getting clanky. The funny thing about the Blackmore is that it can be your Marshall Plexi kind of amp if you wanted to, but it can also be a real high gain monster. It can do like extremely heavy stuff. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, sure. So we had that side of it. Yes, just I was using the low gain mode, by the way. This is important.
How can I plug into the
to my
Blackmore into your system? That's the input.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see if this. Oh no!
Too short. You need a longer cable.
I need a longer cable. Yes.
We have tons of cables on the floor. Wait a minute. There's a cable that goes somewhere here, maybe, and this goes around here, and this is. Use this.
Exactly, because I'm going to...
Use this. No. The other way around, because this has a silent plug.
Ah, yeah, okay. But, yeah. So, let's take this out. That's this cable.
And I hope this will be the last thing we do today, because then we ruined the whole video studio.
Okay, so that's the input now.
Yes.
So... and I wanted to show this.
And now we have the serious.
The lower.
Sorry.
We need the. Where
are you?
Okay. So that's nice. It's like, it could be heavier. And if you wanted to... Holy shit. I don't know what that is.
It's the angle flying.
It's the frying pan.
It's probably something with the power.
So instead of going to the other channel that creates this weird noise, I'm just using the boost one, and I'm also taking out some of the low end. It can be a really like poisonous high gain amp as well if you wanted to.
Nice.
Which is fun because I mean it's the Richie Blackmore amp. That's not associated with
nothing
anything.
wrong with that.
No.
I'll try with the AMP1 then, just for fun. You play and I switch.
Okay. Do you have this engaged?
Whatever. metal gate.
Yeah.
You know, so the metal gate.
Yeah.
That's the angle. Angle has. So you can get close as well.
Somebody said Richie amp versus Iridium AMP1. I can tell you from experience that the Iridium is most likely going to win this because
it is tight by nature.
It's tight by nature, and obviously the whole preamp section is more built towards this. I mean, it depends on what you want to achieve, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you could achieve a lot of stuff with that.
That, sure.
Like you could with the Mercury Edition, but if you wanted to be like really, then.
Wow. Okay. Hey guys, we already have the 2 hours show limit. We reached it. My God. I think we heard a lot of interesting stuff tonight. I'm very impressed about your pedals, and thank you for this one. Well, the creamy pedal, and I think we have to continue another time with more, because I know Frank is always doing stuff.
I'm always doing stuff, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
and we never know what's coming next, because you have been surprising me several times over the years.
That's good.
I
like the surprise.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to do. So hey, thanks very much for joining in with us today here. Thanks for
inviting me. Thanks for having me here.
It's always my pleasure. You know how it is. We always have good talks. We always have nice things to share and stories to tell and whatever. So if you have more questions about the pedals, go to
FFXpedals.com.
Yeah.
You'll find all the information about them. We also have a few offers right now. We have a couple of B-stock pedals, so if you want like an easy, a little more affordable entry,
now is the time.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. That's good.
As the Terminator said, do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger.
You can call me Schwarzi.
Yeah, the Austrian dialect is cool too. Okay, next week I think I have Max Karten here, the guy from Belgium, who is like the AC/DC expert.
Okay.
Yeah, he has built his new pedal board. I don't know all the details. It's just I fix dates and the topics come as we do it.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about? There's tons of stuff to talk about.
It's always, interesting. People have tons of topics. So, and I like to have this format a bit more open. So I'm not reading a script or anything. It's like improvised, like my whole life, and like the music and whatever. And don't forget, this week I have 2 concerts in, where is it? Nagold, which is the Black Forest. Ever been to the Black Forest?
No.
And
don't be afraid of the Black Forest.
Yeah, and the other, which is on Friday and Saturday, I play Offenburg for the Germans in the Reithalle. The thing with the COVID is both places have super strict rules, it's safe. That's the main thing. And there are big places we don't have too packed people there. It's not like a club gig where everybody is next to the neighbor. No, we have proper rooms with best air conditioning, and
so there's not going to be a mosh pit.
no.
Why? No, it's okay. I'm just kidding.
We do our well, you can mosh wherever in your corner, but we will do
Wall
our
of death.
we will do our anarchy thing, and it will be a tasteful evening of anarchy. Enjoy that. And hey, thanks you, Frank, so much for joining in. We'll meet again somewhere, sometime, and we'll do more stuff. And
Definitely.
Stay tuned.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, now, since we played at the intro with Walking on the Moon, I remembered there was something. And the very first time there was a Guitar Summit event in Mannheim, Germany.
Yes.
I had the absolute pleasure to play with Guthrie Govan, the only amazing, over talented.
Yeah, it's not even funny anymore.
Yeah.
This guy.
You told me the story when he played with who was it, with Petrucci and.
Yeah, he played with Petrucci. There was this Petrucci guitar camp, and he was on stage with guys like Andy James, Tosin Abasi, a couple of like really like fast and like seasoned guys, you know. And obviously Petrucci was there.
Yeah.
And you just give this guy 2 minutes, and nobody else wants to play anymore because it's like, what am I gonna do after this?
Sure.
It's terrible.
And I had a similar experience when I played the first Guitar Summit, and he was joining my Rock Anarchy. So you hear some Rock Anarchy featuring Guthrie Govan, and unfortunately it was just a mobile phone video that somebody put up on YouTube.
I remember that, yeah.
It's not the best sound quality, but at least it's entertaining. Get Scared with Guthrie Govan, and see you soon, maybe next week on this channel. Thanks, Frank. Cheers.
See ya, guys.
Ja, stimmt.